I'm not saying that Israel is the KKK or that Israel is the Nazis, but a lot of young Americans think it and are saying it. And if you don't understand what they are saying, and why they are saying it and what they believe, then you will fail when you try to address them and when you argue with them, and especially when you plead your case to them. Imagine the Nazi in World War II and Jews revolt. The Jews broke out of their concentration camps and they killed and burned Nazis. And you'd think, good, they're the Nazis, they deserve it. Now imagine if these Nazis put on a public media campaign and claim to be the victims, and they want your support and your sympathy, and they want your donations, and they want your weapons so they could go and oppress even more. I think you get the point. Now, I know you don't like this. It's harsh. I don't like it. But we have to understand this, that this is what many of them believe, and especially the young people, and that it's going to get worse. And on top of this, we have this narrative of racism, of apartheid, of the white colonialist Jew oppressing the brown indigenous Arab. We'll say it again. The white colonialist Jew oppressing the brown indigenous Arab. That is the narrative. We've hit every liberal humanist trigger word. No wonder they stopped standing for the Ukraine. We're talking about a humanist, wealthy, bored America, filled with young people searching for a cause, for a purpose. They don't have world wars, they don't have communism, and they don't have terrorism. This is their route to self-righteousness. And then throw in social media, where everything has to be magnified and broadcast. This virtue signaling is their reason to wake up in the morning. It's a perfect term and a perfect concept. Israelis, go look it up. Virtue signaling. But you have to understand these ideas, because this is the answer of why posters of kidnapped children are torn down, why rape is denied, and why any Jew or other American who won't outwardly condemn Israel is considered a Nazi sympathizer. It's why you have these wild statements that I'm sure you Israelis are completely confused by, of Zionists don't deserve to live. And you're thinking, where did this come from? In fact, to show how clueless Israelis remain, Israel's most liberal party, political party, is now called the Liberal Democratic Zionist Party. This alone tells us that even they, even labor and Meretz, are completely out of touch with what's going on in the United States. They just call themselves the Democrats to align with the US Democratic Party. Yet they don't even understand, they don't even realize they just added the name Nazi or KKK to their party name. How did this happen? One concept, humanism. It's not a new concept, but the fact that it's mainstream in the United States and in the West is. Now, I'm not going to explain it. You could look it up, it's well documented. But under humanism, religious people are looked down upon as naive, simple. So the United States humanist will look down on a Muslim or a Hindu country as backwards. But it won't abhor it. It won't trigger the hatred. But a country where one religion is dominant over another, plus, as we said earlier, adding all these incendiary trigger words of race and colonialism, forget it. It's a lifetime cause. It's a reason to wake up in the morning. It's why a left anarchist will support a radical jihadist. Otherwise, it makes no sense. Now, is there anti-Semitism involved as well? Of course, definitely. All the anti-Semitic tropes of the past, of the Jew manipulating the world, of the blood sucking from the innocent, controlling the money, are completely in play here. In addition, the historic success of Israel and the disproportionate success of Jews in America confirms everything in the humanist mind. So Zionism and humanism don't mix. Oil and water, fire and ice, whatever you want. So what do we do now? First of all, because you understand the perspective of the humanist American and European, you understand that in their warped mind, you're the KKK. And you're hanging pictures of kidnapped KKK families and raped KKK women. And you're asking for sympathy, support, and weapons to continue your KKK mission. So if you understand this, you wouldn't even have started with any of these. And you wouldn't have gone on TV and cried and begged and looked sad. Because you know not only will you not receive sympathy, but it's going to enrage them even more. So do you offer a public relations campaign to counter these, the foundational facts? Jews are indigenous to the land, show historical evidence, archaeological evidence, explain that the majority of Israeli Jews are of Mizrahi origin, not necessarily of European origin, explain that it's not apartheid, that Arabs and Druze and Bedouins, they can live very well in Israel if they're not at war. Well, unfortunately, those are facts, and facts target the mind. The US humanist who is searching for a cause and seeking to virtue signal his life away thinks with his heart. So he can't see all of these things. He'll rationalize them because what these facts do is they underpin his entire existence, his reason to wake up. And that's why there are Queers for Palestine, supporting radical Muslims. That's why there are feminists denying weaponized and documented rape. That's why there's tattooed and pierced US college students who think they have everything in common with Hamas. Now the world, including Israel, adores US culture. And they adore what they believe is US freedoms and US democracy and US success. But those things have changed. Americans know they've changed and they don't adore them anymore, but the rest of the world lags behind. So what does Israel do? Once we realize this, we have to look to change our perception of the world. I'm not saying break with the United States or break with the West, nor am I saying replace the United States or the West with Russia or China. But I am saying that it's a big world. So while Russia and China are certainly not our ideological partners, neither is the West or Europe anymore. So we have to gain closer ties to Russia and China, if only to leverage against the control of the US and Europe. It's a big world. There's India, South America, Eastern Europe, Africa. And we, Israel, have a ton to offer in fields of science and academia and military and technology and finance, defense, counterterrorism, on and on. We are powerful. Plus, we're a nation. In addition to being a country, we're a nation. That means we have unity. We have a concern for one another based on a shared past and a common destiny. This is a tremendous asset. What holds us back? What holds us back is fear. The problem is that we have fear of the unknown, fear of thinking that we'll become a pariah state. And that comes from a lack of confidence. We remain in exile of the mind. We don't realize how strong we are, and we certainly don't know how to use our own strength. So we build our confidence, we understand our strengths, we use them, we leverage them, and then we face the reality. And the reality is we need to diversify our world partners and not look to join a new empire. And with this understanding, everything else falls into place. Our army doesn't have to apologize and explain everything every 20 minutes. We can operate freely in the Middle East, where strength is a deterrent, and it's okay that people fear you. In fact, it's a must. And we don't have to wait for world permission, and we don't have to seek world acceptance, and we don't have to act based on world criticism. In other words, we grow up.